Imagine this. You stuck in the traffic again. You're late, you're annoyed, you thinking, man, what if there would be only some technology that would help me to get over all this traffic jam, fly over it, flying through it? Well, guess what? There's one guy in Germany who thought absolutely the same. But he didn't just think, he acted and made it happen. Today, my dear ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Daniel Wiegand, the dude who invented the world and opened the world of flying cars, of flying taxis. And yeah, real life electric flying taxis. His company Lilium went from being just a crazy dream to being a $1 billion company. And his story is full of lessons which can help us to get to our first 8 figures before 40, as Daniel did. The story has absolutely everything, so buckle up, it's gonna be good. Let's go. For starters, let's rewind a bit. Daniel, little boy in a little German town. Other kids are playing soccer, they like to riding bicycles, doing that type of shit the kids love to do. And he's like, nah, that's not my thing. My thing is flying. The guy liked to fly. At 14 years old, he was already paragliding as a solo paraglider, which is pretty cool. By the way, something I really want to try in the nearest future. He was doing it already at 14. Doing solo paragliding is like riding a bicycle, but without any supporting wheels, and not even a bicycle, more like motorcycle. He was doing it by himself, which was absolutely amazing. But it wasn't just about flying. The kid was smart, but not just like smart, but super smart. He was very brainy. He entered this competition in Germany called Jugend Forscht. It's basically like a Shark Tank, but for brainy young Germans. And he absolutely crushed it. And everyone knew that at this point, this kid is going places. So he went to the college, and it was the Technical University in Munich. And he went to study aerospace engineering. And while studying, he got this crazy idea. What if there would be a flying taxi? What it would be a kind of a gadget, what if there would be a gadget where you can just hop in, get through from place A to place B as fast as possible, but plus it would be absolutely electrical, and not only for the rich people, but actually for everyday use for everyday man. So it's 2015. 2 and 3 his friends, Matthias, Patrick, Sebastian, they're getting together and starting this company called Lilium. And let me tell you, those guys get it seriously. They named the company after Otto Lilienthal, which is the German aviation legend, basically, who dreamed of humans flying through the air like birds. And this is the idea they took and tried to implement into reality. So the mission was to build an electric vehicle which will take off like a helicopter, but flying like a jet. They called it EVTOL, which is not important. Important is it was a big task. It was, and make it also, and the idea was also make it absolutely electrical, without any gas, without any, pollution. Just zip zap, you getting from the one place to another place. So 2016, they snagged 10 million from the fund, which, by the way, was run by the guy who founded Skype. So yeah, big money believed in the idea, and the hype kept growing. So Daniel was named Innovator of the Year under 35 by MIT Technology Review, which is pretty big at the moment. By 2021, Lilium went public. The company was valued at 3.3 billion with the B. Investor couldn't throw money at them fast enough. Everyone thought Daniel was gonna change the world. But the journey wasn't that nice all over together. Building flying taxis come up not the easiest idea, not the easiest venture. in 2020, for example, one of the test planes literally caught fire during maintenance, which was, as you can imagine, not great publicity for a company which tries to convince people to hop in flying machines. And then critics started showing up afterwards. They were like in different tech reviews, they were claiming the batteries wasn't strong enough, the planes can't fly as easy as you say. And Daniel tried to push it back and said, we got this, we can do this. But by 2024, things didn't went well. They went from bad to worse. Lilium was burning a lot of cash. They spent $200 million in just 6 months, which wasn't just a lot of money, that was all the money. They connected with the German government for help, and government was like, maybe not. And just like that, Lilium was filing for bankruptcy in 2024. Okay, so here's the thing. Although the story ends on the cliffhanger, company is right now actively looking for funds. I don't think this is a story about failure. I believe this is a story about trying something insanely hard. And I believe that Daniel is still fighting for it, and he aims for the moon. And honestly, I believe it's kind of awesome. And we still can learn a lot. Daniel is still the guy who achieved his 8 figures before 40. And here's 3 lessons I got from him. So here's one quote. To see so many highly motivated and brilliant people from all corners of the world pursue a common goal is incredibly inspiring. The atmosphere in our project really is electrifying. And the idea here is, if you have big enough idea, if you have big enough ambition, this is what attracts the best talents in the world. This is how you can get the people who would be same mindset, same energy, same altitude and ambition as you, and maybe more, by having this big idea. It's really hard to do that with something that's small or only money oriented. You have to have something that's more than that. Second lesson. A quote from Daniel. After the remember I told you about the fire. One of the vehicles was caught on fire, and here's what Daniel said. Anyone who enters uncharted territory risks making mistakes. That's not a problem as long as you learn from those mistakes. It could sound trivial or corny, but this is just one of the reminders for those of us who are right now on the journey, who are right now doing something and it's not completely working. It's not completely the product market fit. It's not completely the perfect product or the product you are, which is ready to be scaled globally. But you are on the way, on the journey to it, and you continue going after falling down. This is just another reminder for you to, stay on the journey, continue doing, because this is from all the stories I've told in this episode, in previous episodes, and I believe the stories I will tell in the future episodes. The one common thing is things are getting shitty from time to time. And this is what's happening. And this is a part of the entrepreneurial journey. And this is a part of getting to 8 figures, 9 figures, whatever goal you have. You have to accept it. This is how I get to lesson number 3 from Daniel, and here is his quote. While it's important to manage risk carefully, it's also essential to focus on what you stand to win. Meaning, if you have this original assumption about the world you believe in, and you believe that others don't see, you continue doing it, you're failing, something doesn't work. You cannot stop until this assumption somehow change in your personal mind. If you still believe that something is true, although other people don't see it, I believe as an entrepreneur, you have to. This is your obligation to continue doing it and continue trying to implement it into reality. At least this is the lesson I'm getting from this story. So, what's next? Right now, group of investors trying to save Lilium. Will it work? I don't know. But here's what I do know. The idea of flying cars, flying taxis isn't going anywhere. It's gonna be implemented this year, in 10 years, in 50 years, but it's gonna happen. And when it's gonna happen, they will be looking back at Daniel and saying, that was the guy. That was the guy who started it. That was the guy who pushed it. And as said, I believe this alone is kind of awesome. So here you have it. This is the story of Daniel Wiegand, the kid who wanted to fly, the guy who built $1 billion company, and the dreamer who dared to tackle one of the hardest and biggest problems of the world today. His story is not about taxes. It's not about flying per se. It's about grit. It's about continue doing it. It's about dreaming big. It's about standing up after failure. So if you like this story and you know there is a friend who is stuck in traffic, maybe right now, send him this episode. Maybe he would appreciate it. Maybe he will be still stuck in traffic, let's be honest. But maybe, just maybe, you can make this part of the commute for him more pleasurable. See you next time.